Welcome to this episode of Star Wars Declassified, where we look into different facts and stories revolving around the Star Wars canon universe and lore. On this episode of Star Wars Declassified, we'll be exploring Stormtrooper accuracy, and explain why exactly do they miss so much, and as a result build such a reputation on it. Now before we start, it's important to take a brief look on the background of Stormtroopers, as it perhaps gives us our first answer to this question here. In canon lore, Stormtroopers are considered to be an elite infantry unit for the Galactic Empire, a step above the standard Imperial Army troopers. As such, Stormtroopers would receive highly strenuous training that only select recruits would be able to partake in. And because of this, the Stormtrooper Corps was fairly strong, as it was a combination of the clone troopers along with these new well-trained recruits. Or at least that was the case early on in the Empire. Afterwards, when the clones began to be phased out, the Empire quickly needed to churn out high numbers to not only meet the demands of replacing the clones, but also enough to meet the needs of the number of brand new Imperial-controlled planets. The trooper training regiment at that point started to lower in quality in order to meet the new required trooper quota. It was then when Stormtroopers started to become more of the everyday norm for local citizens on Imperial-occupied planets, and were essentially at that point the local police of these planets. This is exactly where we get our first answer to our question. Lower quality training in Stormtroopers saw many recruits join the ranks who otherwise wouldn't be able to cut it in the early Stormtrooper training program. As a result, the overall Stormtrooper Corps quality was diminished. With that, along of course combat skill and awareness. In fact, it was those Stormtroopers who graduated the Imperial Academies with lower scores who would be the ones who would be assigned police work on Imperial planets. Meanwhile, the best of the best would be those who were primarily on military duty with high-ranking officers, officials, or Darth Vader himself. It would be most of these troops who would be promoted to specialized roles later on, like Shore Troopers, Scout Troopers, and so on. Reason number 2 is the Force. As seen in Star Wars Rogue One, only those strong with the Force can be protected by it. We see this exactly happen with Chirrut Baze, the two Guardian of the Whills who were able to evade fire from a squad of Death Troopers, one of the most elite trained units in the Empire. On Scarif, the Death Troopers were able to mow down all of the Rebel Pathfinders with ease, yet were unable to do the same with the Guardian of the Whills. The same can be seen on Bespin in The Empire Strikes Back. We have our heroes escaping Cloud City from small squads of Stormtroopers. In this case here, it's yet another example of the Force protecting the heroes, whom the Force-sensitive Princess Leia was a part of. The very same can be applied with the Ghost Crew on Star Wars Rebels, who are accompanied by 2 Jedi. Of course, while the Force does seem to skew the trooper aim quite a bit, it's only useful against small numbers. For example, if the Ghost Crew were ever to face an overwhelming number of Stormtroopers at one time, then chances are they wouldn't be as lucky. Just like the Jedi during Order 66 in Revenge of the Sith, who were taken out by clone troopers in large quantities. Reason number 3 is the E11 Blaster, the standard issue weapon of the Stormtrooper Corps. The E11, while seen to be a dependent and strong blaster, was never really known for its accuracy. In fact, its shots actually had lower accuracy to make up for the stronger damage fire. Thus, even some of the more skilled Stormtroopers would oftentimes struggle to get good, clean, accurate shots in tense moments of targets at a distance. Finally, reason number 4, an explanation for the Stormtrooper lack of accuracy, or more for therefore lack of aim during Episode 4 A New Hope aboard the Death Star, is simply orders. It's during this part of the movie that gave Stormtroopers the reputation as horrible shots in mainstream media. While the reason for this has been stated plenty already before, I feel I still need to mention this here nonetheless. As shown in the scene with Tarkin and Darth Vader when the rebels escaped the Death Star, it was all done according to plan by Darth Vader the entire time. The Stormtroopers were ordered to miss on purpose. and only take potshots around the rebels to believably scare them in order to retreat to their base on Yavin 4 on the Millennium Falcon, to which had a tracker installed on it by the Empire. However, for some reason, most viewers of A New Hope seem to miss this important tidbit of information, despite even Princess Leia afterwards acknowledging it for the reason of their easy escape, and simply assumed that the Stormtroopers are horrible shots for just comedy's sake. And that is what started a negative reputation Stormtroopers gained for being poor shots, all from some viewers simply not paying attention to the full movie. And that'll do it for this episode. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and share it, along with subscribing to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars related content. And if you want to support the channel, do check out our Patreon page. Along if you still want to continue the conversation, join us on the official Silo Discord server. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.